How to report an online scam to law enforcement. Learn how to quickly and safely report fraud, identity theft, or other fishy practice directed at you or someone else on the internet or via other electronic means. Keep in mind that fraud reported early can save a victim up to 90% of financial losses and increase by 75% the odds of protecting the victim's life, privacy, and reputation, according to government statistics. Note, this is the third video in a trilogy. We recommend you also watch videos 1 and 2. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. I hope you're doing fantastic today. I'm doing marvelous. If you were to ask me, if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today I want to talk to you about how to report an online scam to law enforcement. Number 1, how do you report an online scam to your local police officer, to your local police station, right? Now, we live in a world where people are not honest, right? We have dishonest people around. You have a lot of scam artists lurking around. So if you have a local scam, you want to gather as much information as possible about the scam artist, right? For example, you want to record his or her name, known addresses, telephone numbers, vehicle description, license plate number, and physical description. And you want to contact your local police station. And it's very important here. You want to speak with the fraud department because the police station, depending upon where you live, can be as big, can be a big department, can be a big station, right? So you want to specialize, you want to focus on the fraud department. You want to advise the fraud department's representative that you would like to file a scam report. In most cases, the officer will be able to take your report over the telephone, right? If not, just go out there, do an in-person visit to the station. And you want to tell the officer all the information I spoke about earlier, the name of the person, the known address, the telephone numbers, and so on and so forth, right? And let the officer know exactly what happened, how you were scammed, and whether or not any money was involved in the scam. If money was involved, tell the officer how much money was involved and how the money was paid to the scammer, right? Whether it was cash or electronically. That's for a local scam. Remember to always take the name of the police detective you spoke to, as well as the report number, just in case you need to reference the report in the future. Now let's move on to an internet scam. Now, if you have an internet scam, you want to automatically visit the FBI website. Now, you want to look under the Contact Us section of the FBI homepage, and there is a link labeled Report Internet Crime. So this will allow you to launch the Internet Crime Complaint Center, the ICCC, the I3Cs. And you want to click the File a Complaint option located on the bottom of the page. And I will walk you through the complete steps in the later section on this show, but you want to quickly click I accept at the bottom of the page to agree to the terms and conditions. Now, it is important to understand that when it comes to internet crimes in the United States, the FBI is in charge, not state police officers or police station. The FBI is in charge because it is considered something across state lines. Now, what do you do next? Whenever you filed a scam petition or a scam complaint against a local person or someone you had an interaction with over the internet, always keep copies of all reports you filed, both with the police and with the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, because those reports may be necessary again to combat new or reappearing fraudulent charges, right? So you want to provide also copies of those reports to the credit reporting bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion as part of your fraud alert file. So that's for reporting an online scam to your local police station or the FBI for that matter. Number 2, how to report an online scam to the Federal Trade Commission. Now, the Federal Trade Commission is responsible for a wide area of processes. of fraud, of reports of complaints. Now, the FBI is tasked with prosecuting, investigating. The FTC does not investigate. The FTC does not prosecute. So, the more information you can provide about the situation to the FTC, the more useful your complaint will be. Now, be prepared to provide your contact information, your name, address, phone number, email, the type of products or service involved, some data about the company or seller. I'm talking here about the business name, the address, the phone number, right? The email address, the website, the representative's name, whatever you can give the FTC to the authorities that can help them accelerate the process, that'll be perfect. Details about the transactions are also very important. The amount you paid, how you paid, the date. Now, as I said earlier, the FTC cannot resolve individual consumer complaints, right? The agency has tips and tactics and tricks to help you get your money back. Now, remember that when it comes to online scams, the FTC accepts complaints related to a variety of topics, including identity theft, the National Do Not Call Registry violations, people calling you those robocalls that you get at 2 a.m., computers, the internet and online privacy, telemarketing scams, credit scams, immigration services, sweepstakes, lotteries and prizes, business opportunities and work at home schemes, health and weight loss products, debt collection, credit reports, and financial matters. So this is a non-exhaustive list of the topics that the FTC accept complaints related to. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. If you love the clarity and the content, the clarity and quality of the content so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell. We provide this sort of wonderful shows every single day, rain or shine. Comment below, like this content, and share if you believe we have added value to your life or will be adding value to somebody's life. How to report an international scam. Now, there is a very important website, and I want you to take note. It's called econsumer.gov. econsumer.gov. This is a platform where you can report international scams and learn about other steps you can take to combat fraud. Your complaints will help consumer protection agencies around the world spot trends and work together to prevent international scams. As a matter of fact, Interpol, the international police organization, works with American authorities in combating international scams. Now, you have several types of international scams, and I'm going to give you a few examples here. Online shopping, e-commerce services, computer equipment. So you can report problems like product misrepresentation, internet auctions and gaming, social networking services, internet access, privacy, other website issues, problems with computer equipment, and malware. So when you go to the econsumer.gov platform, you want to select the category below to file your complaints. It can be online shopping, e-commerce services, or computer equipment. There is also another category that the authorities track very, very well, and that is jobs and making money. So you want to report anything around job scams, multi-level marketing, MLM or pyramid schemes, franchises and distributorships, business opportunities, work at home plans, foreign money offers, mystery shoppers, and other investments. It is very important to know the categories, because the more aware you are, the better it is for you to spot at the very first glance that there's something fishy around the kind of offer, the kind of interaction you're having. You got to know the category of scams for you to be able to identify them, right? So you also have scams around travel and vacations. So for instance, you have the travel or vacation related services or packages, and something called timeshare sales that one of my cousins was involved in, unfortunately for him. You have scams around credit and debt, So you have credit and loans, debt, foreign money offers. You also have imposter scams, family, friend, government, business, or romance, right? We can report scammers pretending to be someone else, such as a friend, family, a romantic interest, or government officials who ask you to send money or give personal information. You can select a category depending upon on the website. Of course, we're still talking about the website econsumer.gov, and that you can select a category to file your complaint. It could be pretend to be a family member or friend, pretend to be a representative or employee of a local, state, or federal government. If a person pretends to be a representative or employee of a business, of a legitimate business, or romance scams, that also it's very prevalent nowadays. We also have phone/mobile devices and phone services, another scam category. You have telemarketing and spam that's been around for the last 20 years, right? So telemarketing, text, or spam. It's very important to remember that if you want to report unwanted sales calls, pre-recorded sales calls, and calls ignoring your request to opt out. You can also report unwanted text and email messages. You also have scams around lottery, sweepstakes, or prize games, right? So if you always are encouraged to report prize offers that require you to pay or buy something. Report sweepstakes and foreign lotteries and other scams. We basically live in a world that's very dangerous, where you have a lot of fishy people, a lot of dishonest people who want to prey on others. And you have a variety of other scams around healthcare, cars/automobile, home, charitable contributions, charitable solicitations, grants or education, property inheritance tracers, jewelry, watches. So this is really a continuum of scams you have out there, and the more aware you are, the better. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We're still having a conversation here about how to report an online scam to law enforcement. And here, number 4, I want to show you how to report an online scam to the FBI. Now, as I said earlier, it is the purview of the FBI. It is the FBI's purview to investigate internet scams. All right. Now, we put the website link on the screen. It's complaints/ic3.defaults/.aspx. And the steps are very user friendly. It's very simple. So when you have to, if you go to that page, it's called a complaint referral form for the Internet Crime Complaint Center. That's what the IC3 stands for, Internet Crime Complaint Center. So you just have to put your name, the victim's name, the name, the age, the address, the city, county, country, the zip code, the phone number, the email address. And you want to put the financial transactions, right? So the FBI wants you to talk about the transaction type that relates to the complaint. Then you want to describe the incident. This is very important. The authorities need to know how the incident happened, how you were victimized. You want to provide information not captured elsewhere in the complaint form. So if the following were used in the incident, like spoofed email, similar domain, email intrusion, other. It's also very important to understand that law enforcement or other regulatory agencies may desire copies of pertinent documents or other evidence regarding your complaints. So you want to talk about information. You want to give the authorities some information about the subjects who victimized you, the scammer, that is, right? If you know the person, you want to put their name, their business name, their address, the city, the country, the zip code or route, the phone number, the email address, the IP address. This is very important because we're talking about online scam. If you are aware of the IP address, if you know their IP address, put that in, and other information. right? If an email was used in the incident, you want to provide a copy of the entire email, including the full email headers, to the FBI. If there are any other witnesses or victims to the incidents, please mention them. If you have reported this incident to other law enforcement or government agencies, you want to provide the name, phone number, email, date reported, and report number, which is why I was telling you earlier, you want to keep copies of any complaints you file with local police officers. And you also want to put the person who filed the complaint, right? So if you were the victim in the incident described above, or there was somebody else. And voila, you just have to sign. You want to put your digital signature. You want to make sure you're not a robot, and submit the complaints. Right now, after you submit the complaints, please always keep copies. The same thing you did for the local police detectives, you do want to do the same thing with the FBI. Keep copies about the complaint details, the company details, your own information, your comments. And you want to review the information before sending it. But after you send it, you still need to keep copies of it. All right. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We're also having a conversation around how to report an online scam to law enforcement. Now, there are important things you need to keep in mind. How law enforcement uses and shares your data. Now, your complaint data will be entered after you send it. It will be entered in Consumer Sentinel. This is a consumer complaint database maintained by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission. Now, as I said earlier, the FTC does not have the tools to investigate, complaints, right? What they do is the FTC is tasked with safeguarding consumer protection. So your data, including personal contact information, will be made available to certified government law enforcement and regulatory agencies in many countries. And these agencies may use your information to investigate, uncover new scams, right? Pursue regulatory or enforcement actions, and spot consumer trends. Now, information submitted through the online complaint form also may be aggregated to analyze trends and statistics that may be released to the public. Now, here are the reporting tips. It's up to you, really. If you've been victims of a scam, it's up to you to determine how much personal info you want to provide. Providing your contact information will make it easier if the authorities need to reach out to you to obtain additional information about your complaint. So the more information you can provide, the more useful your complaint can be. Now, after you hit the submit button, what do you expect next? If you submitted a complaint, you can update or correct the complaint by contacting the FTC or the FBI with your reference number. Now, although your complaint will be accessible to numerous government agencies, it may or may not be accessed by them. You should not necessarily expect any agency to pursue your complaint on your behalf, right? Because the FTC, the FBI, they're not your lawyers. They are authorities. They are tasked with protecting the public at large. They'll take your complaint. Of course, they will work on it, but don't expect them to update you every 3 months or every 6 months, right? Because many government agencies, they bring lawsuits to protect the public at large, as I said earlier, but they do not intervene. And this is important. They do not intervene on behalf of individual consumers. Other agencies have an obligation to investigate each complaint. All right. So this is pretty much it. If you had this, is just kind of give you an idea of what's going on here. And this is the recap. So the recap of today's show: how to report an online scam to law enforcement. Number 1, how to report an online scam to your local police station. 2, I spoke to you about how to report an online scam to the Federal Trade Commission. 3, I told you about how to report an international scam. 4, I gave you steps and tricks on how to report an online scam to the FBI. And last but not the least, I gave you a few things you need to keep in mind after you press the submit button and reported the complaint. All right. This is it, folks. And today's call to action, I just want to remind you that this is the third video in a trilogy. So we recommend that you watch also videos 1 and 2. The video 1 was the top 10 types of online scams you must know to protect your identity and avoid significant losses. The second video is titled Online Scams, How to Spot a Fake, How to Protect Yourself and Avoid Fraud, and Where to Get Help if you've been duped. All right, I'll be right back right after this. No, I'm signing off right now. Thank you so much for listening to that show. I will see you another time, and until then, stay marvelous.